All right. Hi, everybody. I hope you are all good. All right. Today is a personal update about me. I am going through a major life change and I want to just kind of give you guys an update. All right. So it's the beginning of November. At the end of the month, at the end of November, I have to move out of my apartment. This is non negotiable for me. This is something that has to happen. It is in writing and I've agreed to it and I'm moving. So, and believe it or not, I intentionally manifested this for myself. And while it could be seen as a negative experience, I'm not viewing it that way. It has to happen. 2 years ago, I had the means and the opportunity to move, but the pandemic was in full blown. So I didn't know what to do. I would say at the end of 2020, I could have moved away. I could have left the country, could have left where I was living, something, and I didn't do it because I didn't know what the pandemic was going to happen. I mean, it's just now finally clearing up, at least in this country, where they're not imposing restrictions on people. But so that was a lost opportunity. And I've lived here longer than I should have. And for the last 2 decades, I've been living behind the 8 ball, and I'm tired of that. And in particular, for the last 12 years, I have worked, I've worked so hard and I've been burning the candle at both ends of the stick. And there's been points in my life where I've worked 2 full-time jobs, where I've sacrificed my sleep and my well-being, my physical well-being, to work, pay bills. And the money I've never been able to enjoy that money. And I'm so tired of it. It is so tiring and I've burned out. I have literally burned out. And 2022 has been me just trying to survive with the burnout. And a lot of the times I've opted to not work. So it has created it has created something that many people would consider negative. It has created debt. And I needed to find a way to be free of all that debt. And I created it. So I have freed myself from that debt. And I've given myself the opportunity to have time to focus on what I need to focus on, the things that I was trying to create in 2021 and 2022 that have now, been neglected, and other things, and put a emergency fund together and get my life together. I need a higher frequency address, a higher frequency neighborhood location, because this is a very low frequency area that I live in. And I moved in here 8 years ago when I was unawake, and when I was practicing black magic, and when I was going back to eating meat from being vegan. I started to eat meat after being vegan, probably accidentally opening my script at that time, and compounding it with black magic and all of that. I mean, it was a recipe for disaster. And nevertheless, living in a place for a significant amount of time, your energy is building up. And while the house entity, and while I can remove ether connections and I can close vortexes and things like that, there have been enough negative experiences in here where it's time for me to go. 3 years ago, also, there was a murder outside of my 200 feet away from my building. It's a negative place. It's a low frequency area. There's nothing high frequency about this area. Now, while the city that I live in has many things that I love, like the beach being a quarter mile from my house, I also do enjoy the convenience of having a grocery store that I could walk to, because it is literally 2 minutes away from my home, 2-minute walk from my home. That gives you an idea how close it is. Those things are very convenient. There are a lot of conveniences. Plus, I am not even 5 minutes from the downtown of my city, where I can enjoy many things. There's a lot of nice things I like living here that I enjoy, but this particular neighborhood of that city is no bueno. So I have to remove myself, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm probably going to have to live with my siblings for a while, even though that is uncertain at this time, because I've not even told them what's going on with my life at this point. But I need to regroup, and I need to put money away. I need to build up my emergency fund. I need to put away security deposit and 1 month's rent. and make sure I have a better foundation with the things that I had been trying to build for the last 2 years. So these things have to happen. The main thing is that I am now free of this gigantic financial burden and hopefully can eliminate some of the other things that I have in the meantime, because there are certain things that I truly want to be free of, that like there's people that I don't want to be obligated to anymore, that because of this situation, I borrowed money and I want to pay that back. I want to be free of that obligation. So there are things that this needed to be created so I could free myself of those things. That's really it. So major life change. I have content on the back burner. So I have some content I can put out that needs to go out this month. Of course, if I'm going to be staying at my sibling's house, I'm going to have internet. I'm going to be able to continue to provide content. Regardless, one way or another, I'm going to provide you content. Like no matter what, I can go to the library, if that's not the case, what I'm saying, there's the library, there's free Wi-Fi at places. I can always be making my content regardless of where I need to do it. So that's that. But yeah, so that's really going on with me. It's no example to be an awakened source player who has a life that's not their best life, that is living a financial life that is just in shambles, right? It's not a prosperous life, and I need to change that. And there's nothing fun about working as hard as you do to see that money go into other people's hands. Me being the conduit of somebody else's success. Absolutely not. So that's what I have to do. So thank you for supporting this channel and, just the message or anything that you found helpful. I very much appreciate it. And that's how I want to wrap it up. So I do want to say how grateful I am that I have had conversations with some of you and been able to connect, because ever since I left the Patreon, I don't have that anymore. Ever since I left the Patreon page, I haven't had that kind of connection with other awakened source players. And so I appreciate it very much. All right. Thank you all. Be well, and I'll keep you updated. All right. Bye.